Cheese, Chuck E. Cheese. When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
It's a good time place that's sure to please.
When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese. When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese, Chuck E. Cheese. When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese. It's the good time place that's sure to please. It's Chuck E. Cheese. When you're hungry for fun, it's Chuck E. Cheese.
When it comes to the world of animatronics, people usually think of one or two corporations, Disney and Chuck E. Cheese. In order to fully digest this video, we have to go back to the very beginning, and that starts with good old Disney. But before we head on to that, how are you guys doing? My name is Tuv, and today I bring you guys a long-awaited animatronic documentary, a project I've been working on for months now, and I am so happy it's finally out. There will be two parts in this video. Part 1 where I go over all the animatronic lore, and part 2 where me, Andrew, my cameraman, and Morbid for Fun visit a bunch of discontinued and extremely rare animatronics. I promise you won't want to miss any of it, so please sit back and relax as this video starts. In the New York World Fair of 1964 to 1965, something incredible happened. Something that the world hadn't seen before. For the first time ever, the audience and the world got a glimpse into the first full-range realistic human audio animatronic, a representation of President Abraham Lincoln that gave a 5-minute speech. The crowd was indeed wowed, and although they might have not known it, this final product they were seeing was birthed from a history of long admiration and, shall we say, the love for one's country. I'm talking about the long-standing admiration that Walt Disney had for Abraham Lincoln, which went all the way back to when he was in school. An admiration that lasted all the way into adulthood and inspired Walt to create a stage show called One Nation Under God. The show was meant to be about the presidency and the nation and would feature robotic animations of all presidents. Unfortunately, the technology to pull that off just wasn't there yet. However, when World's Fair President Robert Moses saw the concept during a 1962 trip to Disney, he insisted it be used in the fair, but Disney contested. The compromise, however, came as a remade version that only featured a robotic form of Abraham Lincoln. This is the exact animatronic that wowed the crowd and the world at large. Also, please note that these weren't the actual first animatronics. Technically, that honor goes to Sparko, a robot dog from 1939. You can see the dog and its owner, Electro, in this rather rare footage.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me say that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'd rather have a cigarette.
They appeared in the New York's World Fair in 1939. Electro had been built by Westinghouse Electric Corporation somewhere between 1937 and 1938, while Sparko was designed by Don Lee Haley as Electro's companion at the fair. The two were quite advanced for their time, as Electro could walk by voice command, speak a bit, 700 words max, smoke cigarettes, blow up balloons, and move his head and arms. Sparko, on the other hand, could bark, sit, and beg. Anyway, back to the Lincoln figure. It sort of opened a doorway to a lot of animatronic innovations. Some people, as this article highlights, even fainted at that 1965 fair as they marveled over the magic behind the inanimate becoming animate. If you're like me, researching the Abraham Lincoln figure and seeing some publications like the LA Times compare that to ChatGPT in terms of the effect on the general public, I really don't see how you wouldn't be interested in animatronics. Where did they come from? How have they evolved? Do they malfunction often? Will Disney make futuristic ones? All of that. But first, so we're on the same page, what is an animatronic? One interesting definition among the many that I've come across is that an animatronic is simply a combination of the words animation and electronic. However, since that doesn't offer as much in the way of an explanation, let's use this one from Easy Tech Junkie, where they say animatronics is a type of special effects which involves building mechanized creatures like dinosaurs, imaginary animals, and others. In short, it's a practice of bringing an inanimate object to life using a combination of mechatronics. I know Disney fans completely understand what I'm saying because Disney is one of those companies that has gone all out in the creation and and use of their animatronics. In fact, they coined and copyrighted the term audio animatronic to refer to their exclusive creations. You know, like every single animatronic, which they call audio animatronic, that you see in Disneyland. But let's take it a step back. Let's talk about clockmakers. The real history of animatronics goes as far back as early clockmakers. This is a time before electricity was even around. Early inventors used what we might now call primitive technology. They used this to create automated machines that ended up being the foundation of modern animatronics. One such inventor is Al-Jazari, who is famous for the Al-Jazari's castle clock. Born in the 12th century during the Islamic Golden Age, he was a brilliant engineer who pioneered great developments like automata, automatic control, robotics, and automated musical theaters. Among the many inventions he made was an automated clock, which became regarded as the first analog computer. So what was special about his clock, and why is it in an animatronics video? Okay, quickly, let me take you through how the 11-foot tall clock worked. Sunrise hours were shown by open doors and round holes at the front of the clock. The doors would open to reveal mannequins, and the holes would let in light as time progressed. At the top was a crescent moon that would progress to show minutes. Also at the top was a round wheel that moved to mimic the movement of the moon and stars across the sky as the sun rose and set. Pretty complicated stuff. And all of this was done using a system of reservoirs, troughs, and pulleys. The clock also had 5 robotic musicians that would play when moved by levers. The whole automation and the fact that it seems the clock did lifelike things is why it set a base for animatronics today. Now that the groundwork was laid, other inventors pushed the innovations forward towards better animatronics. And a good illustration here is the Magnificent Lion by Da Vinci, which was made around 1515. The lion arguably stands as an early predecessor to animatronic mechanics rather than electronics. What the lion did was pretty simple yet exciting at the time. Someone would wind it up and then it would take about 10 steps forward, shake its head from side to side, open and close its jaw, and wag its tail. It had a mechanism where if you stroked it at a particular spot, it would open a trap door and showcase lilies in its stomach. You can see the images of the recreated version here and here. I believe this recreated version is currently on display at a museum in Paris. Eventually, clockmakers in 1700s France began making lifelike automated figures and dolls. A really interesting part of this history is that clockmakers were the ones working on animatronics. I mean, it makes sense, but it's not something you really think about at all. You really don't think about that at all, but just a cool fact. Anyway, what are some animatronics of the 18th century? Well, the works of a French Swiss-born watchmaker named Jacques Droz are prime examples. Droz is renowned for 3 robots: the writer, the musician, and the draughtsman. These were not simple animatronics by any means. The writer, for instance, could pen down any text that was up to 40 letters long using a goose feather. He mimics a real writer, even shaking his wrist to prevent ink from spilling, following the letters by eye when writing, and moving his head when inking the feather. You can see it in action here. Overall, these early days had exciting stuff going on with a great foundation of animatronics built upon automata that were powered by water, mechanics, and springs. Of course, when electricity came into the scene, much more complex animatronic operations were possible. Examples of such can be seen throughout Disney's golden age, which you'll clearly see in this next segment. I think it's fair to argue that Walt Disney revolutionized animatronics in the mid-20th century and brought entertainment to new heights in the process. How did he do that? Well, let's first circle back to the Abraham Lincoln figure we talked about in the introduction. If you watch the video of the speech here, you can see the great effort applied to make the animatronic lifelike. Comparing it to the writer, you can tell there's a difference. Abraham Lincoln's figure has more fluidity of motion, and its facial expressions are almost convincing. Like I said before, Walt Disney wanted to make a show involving all the US presidents, but the technology just wasn't there yet. So then how did he have the technology to make the Abraham Lincoln figure? Well, that's where they sort of invented it. It said that Imagineers worked tirelessly to bring it to life. They even used a copy of an actual life mask of Lincoln from the year 1860, and it wasn't an easy process to come up with the right technology. The animatronic was so troublesome in its creation that it was worked on up until the last minute. Apparently, Walt even had to cancel a special preview showing for the Pavilion sponsors due to technical difficulties. Therefore, when it worked on the day of the fair, it wasn't just a triumph for the company, but more of a breakthrough moment for modern animatronics. I can't even imagine them working on it before the curtains unveiled. Imagine the pressure. Disney would then go on applying and perfecting the technology throughout the 60s. The first example of this is the Tiki Room, the first Disney attraction that featured audio animatronics. It was opened on June 22nd, 1963, and it hosts a Hawaiian-themed music show hosted by 4 birds. 4 animatronic birds, with features matching their country of origin. Jose is Mexican, Michael is Irish, Pierre is French, and Newton is German. All the birds also talk with their respective country of origin accents. Features aside though, the execution of these animatronics was great, and the show was an instant hit. Since at the time everyone seemed to be heading to the islands after Hawaii had just been made a state, the first sponsor was an airline, United Airlines, though later a Hawaiian food company, Dole Foods, took over. Since the birds were operated using computers, the operations room was built built underground and an air conditioning system was installed. The air conditioner then became a bigger incentive for Californians to go visit, especially during the heat of the summer. While the birds had been stuffed with electronics and other moving parts inside, the outside was made with real feathers except for the chest areas, which had custom woven cashmere that allowed them to, quote, breathe in a real life manner. And just to paint a picture of how popular the bird show was, an audio animatronic bird that had been placed near the walkway to market the show to visitors constantly caused traffic jams as the same visitors tried to get a glimpse of it. Now I could go on and on about other attractions. We have the Haunted Mansion, the Hall of Presidents, the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, but I'm pretty sure you get the point. Disney has ruled the animatronic scene for decades, and all of this is thanks to great inventors and innovators in their Imagineering team. They pioneered works around servo motors, pneumatic actuators, hydraulics, and others. As written by a Disney Parks blog's author in 2009 regarding their invention at the time, our newest hand prototype has 15 movable joints, which is 3 times greater than a traditional audio animatronic hand. Today, Disney Imagineering works with cutting-edge electronic servo motors to create realistic hands as well as arms. These compact mechanisms are able to move faster and with greater precision. In the past, audio animatronics relied on pressurized air and hydraulics to generate lifelike movements, and with each iteration came more realism. Just look at this one that they showcased last year. It can rollerblade, and with the use of motion capture data, they are hoping it can have emotion embedded in its performances. And all the while, Disney has used the best Imagineers around. Also, just to offer some insight here, I think Disney dominated the history of animatronics due to 2 key reasons. First, they had the money to research and advance the technology. Second, they had places to show their inventions. Though that doesn't mean that their animatronics were always the best. I mean, the Abraham Lincoln animatronic had some pretty funny malfunctions. It apparently was, quote, shaking like crazy and then just slumped over. The Pirates of the Caribbean dark ride has also broken down at some point. Yes, I said Caribbean, not Caribbean. I feel like I only say Caribbean for that Disney Pirates of the Caribbean. Am I tripping? Because I usually just say Caribbean. Y'all let me know in the comments. Even the Tiki Room has been termed as one of the worst Disney attractions ever made and a waste of talent. So yeah, you guys get the idea. Disney rules the world, and they will always rule the world. I'm just kidding. Maybe it could happen. Maybe one day they'll take over the world. I don't know. But when we talk about the word animatronics, people also think of something else. They think of a rat. A billion-dollar company and a rat genuinely get compared for something that the billion-dollar company does a lot better. But who's the rat? Well, that's Chuck E. Cheese. Just gonna throw my 2 cents in. The reason the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics are better than the Disney ones are because the Chuck E. Cheese ones are charming. They represent something that isn't a billion-dollar company. So now let's get into the history of Chuck E. Cheese. The first Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater opened in 1977 in San Jose, California, following the idea of Nolan Bushnell to start and operate a kid-oriented pizza joint that would also double up as an arcade and a live entertainment hub. The goal was to have the arcade as the main focal point, while food and the animatronics would be like a service on the side. This makes sense when you realize that Bushnell, alongside Ted Dabney, invented the video game company called Atari. They were gamers, and hence the focus on the arcade. They actually sold Atari and the pizza joint concept to Warner Communications in 1976, but bought the rights back in 1978. Did you know that Chuck E. Cheese was intended to be a coyote? But the costume actually ended up being a rat. Nolan just mistakenly thought it was a coyote. He just decided to run with it. Coyote Pizza would have been the name. In the first location, the animatronics were singing portraits of Chucky and the gang. They were called the Pizza Players, and they would banter as entertainment for parents as the kids played arcade games. Once Bushnell got his rights back, he began looking for a financier to help expand the Chuck E. Cheese chain. Warner, the previous partner, had refused an expansion beyond the first location. Bushnell then found Robert Brock, who got in for 200 locations in 16 states. And interestingly enough, before agreeing to finance the franchise, Brock had met another guy, Aaron Fector, who had made a name for himself and his company, Creative Engineering, after making this groundbreaking animatronic band called the Wolfpack 5. Robert did not disclose to Bushnell that he met Fector, or even try to buy a stake in his company. He actually agreed to keep Mike Hatcher as the animatronic staffer for the restaurant at the time, despite Fector's animatronics being superior. And so Brock went ahead and started a rival pizza joint, Showbiz Pizza. This pizza joint was in partnership with Fector's Creative Engineering. So basically, let me explain this the tough way. Robert Brock, bro is a snake. Bro saw someone that made better animatronics than the dude he had a contract with, which was Robert Bushnell. That's our boy, right? And then he met this dude that makes better animatronics, was like, damn, I want out of my contract with this dude. Frick. And he just made a rival pizza joint. Yes, there was lawsuits involved. We'll get to that later. Their animatronics band, which ran from 1980 to 1992, was called the Rockafire Explosion, and as would be expected, and hence the Great Robot Pizza Wars of the 1980s. Keep in mind that the Rockafire Explosion belonged to Aaron Fector's company, not Showbiz Pizza. In the early 80s, people experienced the video game crash. This is where home computers were taking over, and there were simply too many cheap video games being made. This also meant that arcades were taking a huge hit. Why would a kid go to an arcade when they could play some games on their PC or exchange emails with a random person that they don't know who their identity is. I'm not making a weird joke about that. Anyway, after Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Time Theater's financial collapse in 1984, their competitor Showbiz actually joined forces with them in order to fulfill a previous court-mandated settlement, resulting in the creation of Showbiz Pizza Time. They actually combined forces. So like I was saying before, there were some lawsuits going on, and Showbiz was smart about it. They were basically like, yo, we gonna take you out of bankruptcy, but drop the lawsuit y'all got on us. Boom. Now they became one. Though this didn't mean that the video game crash just stopped. I mean, they were both now struggling. Showbiz just didn't want to be in a lawsuit. By 1993, all the remaining Showbiz Pizza establishments underwent a rebranding process and became Chuck E. Cheese locations. Now, I won't go into details of the rivalry just yet, but in summary, they both used a lot of money to build their animatronic bands, Showbiz using about $90,000 for their band alone. They highly popularized them, then got bankrupt and later merged into one company, Showbiz Pizza Time Inc. Fector, however, refused to sell his rights to the new company, and his animatronics were removed in favor of the old animatronics from the pizza players. The unified band was called Munch's Make Believe Band. It equally got popular, and despite criticisms here and there, it has survived up until recently when in 2017, the restaurant announced that it would be phasing it out. An interesting person in this story is Fector. It is so mind-boggling how if he just let them use his characters, the Chuck E. Cheese crew we know today would actually be the Rockafire Explosion. He just didn't want them to use his characters because apparently it's because of money. They didn't offer him that pretty penny, so he was just like, nah, y'all make your own or keep using your Chuck E. Cheese ones. Like, a lot of our childhood memories would be extremely different if he just said yeah, or was offered a good amount of money. Both. Now, of course there's more to the story, but why not explain it as we see the animatronics together? So where did me, Andrew, and Morbid go? Well, we went to a place called Smitty Super Service Station, located in Little Improved, Mississippi. I actually tried going in April, so this happening around the same time that the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is releasing is purely coincidental. Damon Brayland, owner of the location, stores all of his prized possessions in a remodeled gas station, from collectibles to entire cast of working animatronics that without him would be abandoned, and luckily he got to save them and give them a new home. How did he gain access to these items? When did he start collecting? How much is all of this worth now? Why am I the best YouTuber out right now? We're about to answer all those questions in the investigation. This is where we're supposed to transition. Hey guys, so it has been a hectic 18 hours have been hectic. I woke up at 8 a.m., went to the airport. So basically what happened was we had a layover flight. So we were supposed to go to Texas and then land at Mississippi. We're supposed to be here like at around 7 p.m. We ended up going from LAX to Texas, but there was a delay. There was like a 20-minute delay. We're like, I hope this doesn't mess with the overlay. It did. We missed the overlay flight completely. We had to wait 4 more hours doing nothing. Actually, we didn't do nothing. We actually played video games, and me and Aaron met Tim the Tap Man. So that was really interesting. I met a fan. I know. He was a fan though. He came up to me. He was like, yo, you that dude, huh? I'm like, yeah, I know. And I was like, you want a pig, little bro? He's like, sure, whatever. He was shaking too. But look. I'm just kidding. Shout out Tim the Tap Man. It was really cool. We got to play a lot of video games there. Me and Aaron ended up putting our channels on the TV and then walking out. After that, we finally got our flight. And then we came here, and then we had to lift, 2 hours? It was around 2 hours from that airport to our hotel. And in the hotel that we got was actually so bad. We found mold, we found stains, and the fire alarm was ripped off. So we just couldn't do that. So I'm gonna get a refund on that. And we ended up finding this one, which is actually on the same block. It's right behind the hotel. It's like they're competing with each other. The other one was actually sus because it says it's permanently closed on Apple Maps. I don't even think they're legally allowed to be open. Then we came here, and this is where we are now. And check out the shoes. Look at that. These are Tub 300s. The Tub 300s. You want to give context to the shoes? Give context to the shoes.
Alright, so basically, those shoes are pretty rare because usually when Chuck E. Cheese, like, they update their mascots. Like, each Chucky, like, from every generation has, like, a nickname. So these, like, from our generation, his name was the Avenger Chuck. Now, like, the modern Chuck E. Cheese, he's, like, the Rockstar Chuck now. Oh, okay. And so when they switched the costumes, I don't know why, but Chuck E. Cheese, like, the corporate, like, they're going to, like, remodel. They have to like destroy everything. It's like those shoes, most of them are like destroyed now. I mean, some private collectors, they get their hands on them, of course. Like what I did right now. I saw it on eBay for like $500. Wait, no, I think the original price was like 700 to 800.
Hold on, wait.
But then like just sent an offer and I just got them for a bit cheaper.
That's the thing. Like what?
This is rare.
Yeah. What Aaron was saying is like, every time they update the Chuck E. Cheese mascot,
Or like the decor and the animatronics, everything.
yeah, and they update the aesthetic, right? They update
decor,
they update Chuck E. Cheese.
furniture.
They have to get rid of the old animatronics, the old costumes, and they have to show proof of it, like pictures.
Yeah, because with the animatronics, if you go on eBay right now, someone's selling the animatronics, but the thing is, it's like a Chucky animatronic, but like it's destroyed for like 1,500. It's not even the real animatronic, it's like broken. The resellers are going crazy, and corporate from Chuck E. Cheese, they hate that like people get their hands on their stuff. So like the stores are required to destroy the animatronics and send them a picture.
Why are they acting like they Disney, bro? You are not Disney. I get if they destroy like Mickey Mouse shit. I get it.
Yeah,
It's
there's like way
Disney.
too much.
It's like, Chucky, you cool, but you not Disney though. Talking about, let's burn it and send us proof. Shut the fuck up, man. That's why your employees gonna send us that stuff for free.
They're replacing the animatronics with dance floors. Who the fuck's gonna dance out of Chuck E. Cheese?
Dude, I don't know. I've never seen a full Chuck E. Cheese. I don't think I've ever seen a
they're
full Chuck E.
falling
Cheese.
off.
Even when I was a kid, the most would be like 75% full. I don't think I've ever seen a full Chuck E. Cheese.
True.
Nah, they kind of died when we were like 10. And when we were like 10 years old, they kind of were dying. Speaking of animatronics, speaking of Chuck E. Cheese, let's use this as a perfect segue to tomorrow. All right, guys, so right now we're on our way to buy a pizza for Smitty. I don't know, it's like a ritual or something. He wants to get a pizza. Why are we getting a pizza? We're the guests. And then we're gonna Uber/Lyft our way to Smitty's Smitty's Super Service.
Super service station.
We'll see you when we're getting the pizza. Guys, it's Foxy. All right, guys, we finally made it to Smitty's Super Service. We are finally here, bro. He actually had to pick us up because there was no Lyft or Uber or anything. Shout out Aaron, he's been keeping contact with us.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm going in blind. So we actually split research for this video. He did more of the Chuck E. Cheese side. I did more of the like history of animatronics. That includes like Disney stuff, all that type of stuff. So I'm going in blind. He knows a little bit more.
I know
than me.
some stuff, but like I'm so hyped to see him in person.
Yeah, I'm so hyped too. I'm so, we have Smitty right here actually. He's looking at us. There you go. Hey. I know what you mean.
Yo. Alright, clip. Right now.
Wow. Yeah.
Okay, they're way bigger than I expected.
Oh.
That's just the ones you see, not the ones behind the curtain. So
Wow.
Whoa. Get all that. Man, look at the posters in the back. You get Chuck to the Future.
That's a fire parody poster.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this one right here.
Dude.
Definitely 7 feet tall.
Do you think like the Finest Freddy's ones are supposed to be this tall?
Yeah, they're like 7 feet around.
This is like Freddy would be this big.
Yeah, dude, that's actually terrifying. Like,
Bro.
imagine this guy running up to you. You're dead.
Look at these guys, the Beagles. Oh, that's funny. Get it? Like the 1975, and I'm just kidding. Let's go from baby Smitty, you know? What got you into all this? This is such a specific niche, you know?
well, growing up as a kid, I mean, this is what it was.
It's a dream.
Unless you went to Disneyland or Disney World, you weren't going to just go see animatronics anywhere. And oddly enough, they were at a pizza restaurant. 2 different pizza restaurants. There's competing competition,
Yeah.
Pizza Time Theater with Chuck E. Cheese and Showbiz Pizza Place with the Rockafire Explosion. Just a brief overview is that Pizza Time Theater, which is Chuck E. Cheese, started in 1977. Showbiz started in 1980. Pizza Time Theater, Chuck E. Cheese, went bankrupt in 1984. Showbiz bought them. It then became Showbiz Pizza Time. So what is left of everything today that you're calling Chuck E. Cheese is actually what is left of Showbiz that bought them. So what happened when they bought them out of bankruptcy, they got all of the IP, all of the copyright, and they never owned the Rockafire Explosion. The Rockafire Explosion was still owned by the company that created them in Orlando, Florida, called Creative Engineering. They were always just leasing that show. They wanted the show, but the owner of that company would not let them have it, so they did away with him.
Going from like you as a kid witnessing this, you loved it, and then you started getting a little older, and when did you start actually being like, maybe I might buy them, maybe I might take some for me?
I don't even know when I would buy them started. I don't even know where that
Really?
came from at this point.
Okay.
But it was like, you know, I started my own family. I was looking to have kids of my own, and
And
already.
what year was this?
This
timeline?
was like early 2000, 2001. And I mean, already at that point, most of it was gone from this area. It didn't really exist anymore. My thought originally was to get the Chuck E. Cheese characters. That is what I went to more as a child. There were more of those here locally than there were Showbiz. But when I did start the collection, it became apparent very quickly that the Showbiz characters were more readily available because they hadn't been used. Chuck E. Cheese was still holding on to their shows.
Yeah.
So I wound up with the Rockafire Explosion first. Turn around and go over there and look on that table at those pictures. And that is what I got. So from those pictures right there to in here running took 4 years.
Hey guys, Tub from the future here. I'm gonna be popping in sometimes during this part of the video because there was a lot of air conditioning during the filming and there are just some things that I would like to explain more over. So in this part of the video, Damon was explaining that it took 4 years to turn the endoskeletons into actual functioning characters. So for a brief period of time, he did just have some random, endoskeletons hanging around wherever he had them. And in case you're wondering how he got the actual parts, well, we're gonna talk about that in the video. Just wanted to give some context.
So what I want to do real quick is I want to let them introduce themselves. So I have an introduction show where they talk about being here and how crazy it is that it's in the middle of nowhere. So if y'all want to grab a front row seat right there.
The Smitty, is that what you said?
Yeah, this is a custom show for Smitties.
Okay.
Let's get the 2 cameras set up first.
Okay.
Well, welcome back everybody to another great show here with the Rockafire Explosion, me and Looney Bird and Rolf and Earl, and we're coming to you live today here at Smitty Super Service Station in beautiful downtown Little Improved.
Yeah, I love it here. Yeah, this place is conveniently located in the middle of nowhere. But I love it.
What's there to love about it, Looney Bird? We're stuck out here in the sticks. Nothing's going on. This place is Deadsville.
Oh, I don't know, Rolf. It's not so bad. In fact, I find it kind of relaxing.
Yeah, I agree with you, Billy Bob. Hey, besides, Rolf, all the entertainment you could ever want, if you know what I mean, is only about an hour's drive from here.
Well, my career has been on hold ever since we came to this little podunk town. And I want to be heard and seen by the millions of admirers who crave the velvety sounds of Rolf the Wolf.
Rolf, you're such a geek. You don't have any admirers, man. Why do you keep talking about your admirers? I Googled you, and you know what I found?
What?
Your police record.
Earl, I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't bring that up here.
Forging prescriptions, identity theft, and singing off key 100% of the time.
Earl, I had back pain.
Sure.
If it's good enough for Elvis, it's good enough for me.
Elvis never sung off key.
You stay out of this, Looney Bird.
Hey, Looney Bird, hold it down. We don't want to get Rolf any madder than he already is. Rolf, we're not saying there's anything wrong with you.
Yes, we are.
It's just that, maybe sometimes, you're not as talented as you think you are.
What?
Like maybe you don't sing as good as you think you do, and maybe there's other things that you could be doing with your life rather than trying to sing or do comedy, which you're not very good at.
Billy Bob, that is the rudest, most offensive, nastiest thing I have ever heard anyone say to me in my whole life. Everyone has always loved me everywhere I go. No one has ever said such terrible things about me. I will have you know that I once performed a one-wolf show on Broadway. The only one in the show, that was me.
Yeah, because no one else wanted to be in the show with you.
I'll have you know, I got a standing ovation in that show. Everyone in the audience stood up.
Yeah, they stood up and walked out.
That's a good one, Looney Bird.
Hey, you guys, come on. Hey, everybody. I'm sure everybody knows that y'all are just fooling around, and
No, we're not.
and you're not really mad at each other,
Yes,
and
we
you really
are.
love Rolf, and Rolf, you really love Earl and Looney Bird, and
I'm definitely going to go work for Chuck E. Cheese when we're done with this gig. Chuck E. Cheese is all over the world, and this little gig is little improved. I just don't think so. Chuck E. Cheese is the man, the new man, as far as I'm concerned.
Good, go, get out of here.
Yeah, beat it.
oh no.
And furthermore, you will all be hearing from my attorney, and I will see you in court.
Oh, Rolf, come on, calm down. It's not that bad. It's nothing to fight about.
You're the one I'm going after first, Billy Bob, because you have the most money.
Well, what did I do?
You insulted me, Billy Bob. Everybody heard it, and I have it on tape.
Let me know if you need a good attorney, Billy Bob.
Don't settle out of court, Billy Bob. You can beat him.
But I don't want to beat Rolf.
Ladies and gentlemen, going up against Billy Bob, we have Rolf the Wolf at 173 pounds. Standing up for himself, we have Billy Bob. Billy Bob, what are you going to do and how do you feel?
Well, I'm scared, but
Yeah, so then they start singing a copyrighted song, and this is a pattern you're gonna notice a lot with old animatronic shows. Copyright system just wasn't that harsh. It just wasn't that harsh. So sadly, I cannot show it in this video, but just know it was a great song, a great performance, and I was shocked when I first watched this live. What you just watched was our first reactions as well. And I wasn't paying attention to the script because I was just focused on the fact that there were some rare animatronics in front of me. And now you're probably wondering, how did he even get the voice actors to say all that custom stuff? I mean, they made fun of the location itself. To put it simply, he just has contacts. With years in the quote industry, that type of industry, I guess, you just get connections, and so he knows the actual voice actors. Throughout this trip, Damon showed us a lot of shows, but sadly, you know, copyright. That's why I was able to play that first one in its entirety, because 1, it's amazing, 2, it's extremely rare, 3, there's no music involved. But right after this song ended, I didn't even have any time to process, but something started playing that I recognized. And Damon had told me previously that his son Dez had worked on a surprise for me for 3 nights or something. I didn't know what to expect, but then I heard this.
Woo! Dude, that was amazing. Yo, I'm speechless. I need to process it. Give me like 30 seconds.
You have no time because...
Oh! Yo! Yo, I was like, wait, why did I just hear that?
Yup, they programmed my song, Stop Loving Me, the intro track to my album. This is not a promo, I'm just explaining what happened. They were actually able to get another custom show just for me, and they made Beach Bear, that big bear in the back, have my voice in it. And it was just the most jaw-dropping experience I think I've ever had in my life, honestly, and it felt so wonderful. I instantly felt like the GOAT. So I got up there, I was having fun, started performing with them. It was a surreal experience. By the way, concert's out soon, and in case you don't know, I make music. But yeah, guys, you see, ever since I left Hyperpop, you see the respect I'm getting now? Even the animatronics be singing my music. I told y'all it was a good move.
Yo, that's a crazy surprise. I was not expecting that, bro. Oh my lord. Dude, thank you so much, bro. You're the GOAT. Yo, that was fire.
I would have done more off the new album.
No, that was perfect. The instrument was perfect, and then programming that specific one to have my voice was the funniest thing. I was like, who's gonna sing it? Damn, I couldn't even process the first one, and now it's like double that.
Sit down, breathe.
You chose one of my favorite songs in the album too. Is that your favorite one?
My favorite is Road Trip, actually.
Road Trip, dude, I love Road Trip. That one means a lot to me. I love that that's your favorite. That's a 6-minute song.
They're talking, and just let them go. They're talking,
bro.
Right, man.
What was the process of programming that?
So it's just tedious. You just keep listening to the song and laying data down. So the data is each light, each.
Yeah, you do it on.
We do it on a laptop. There's a program that we use.
Okay.
So we'll select the character that we want to program and select the movement that we want to program and assign it to a key on the keyboard. So we'll sit there on the keyboard and like we're typing. Yeah. But you can only do so many at a time. And like with the drumming and the guitar, I mean, you want to be close, so you do it, in the mouth. But yeah, we were over here 3 nights for a 2-minute song, a little over 2 minutes.
So I can't even imagine if that took 3 nights. I can't imagine the actual show.
Like a show? I mean, that was somebody's full-time job.
Yeah.
When it was it was their job. That was what do you do for a living? I program a bear.
Yeah. Dude, I got the first live performance of Tug.
Yeah, you got the first concert.
All of them.
You guys got the first concert.
Yeah, first concert. So like when you program like a song, like for them to perform any song, like is it the same for these guys, for example, like the Chuck E. Cheese ones, or is it different?
It's the same program and it's the same concept, but it's different because none of these are really. I mean, he's got a banjo, but he doesn't really play
no
it.
Drums,
no drums, no pianos, less lights. It would have probably taken 1 night to have done these because there is just not as much complexity or movement ability that they have compared to the rockafire.
Yeah, because even though like I'm a bigger Chuck E. Cheese fan, like I would rather have them play the song, like Tug song, because like they actually like move around more. They play the instruments, like it's more realistic in a way.
We're gonna play these guys too in a little while. Yeah. And I mean, they're good for what they're capable of doing. We were able to figure out a way to program all of the Chuck E. Cheese characters to sing one song. So normally it's just these characters or that, you know, but we've got the whole thing. And our ultimate goal, which we are not there yet, is to be able to have them sing across like a dueling band thing.
Like a musical battle.
A battle between them. So, you know, we're still trying. It's a lot of air. All of these robots are pneumatic. That means they're air driven. So I have air compressors in the back, and yeah, it would be a lot.
So going back to where it started, you know, how I was like, oh, baby Smitty, like, I want to know eventually when you did buy it. I know you went over, you're like, you don't even remember like being into it or like when that area of your life happened. But I want to know, like, how did you get these guys? Like, how do you even get them? Auction? Like
eBay auction.
eBay auction.
eBay auction.
In the early 2000s.
2003. So the company that I was talking about earlier, Creative Engineering, they had to consolidate their warehouses into one building. And what they were doing was getting rid of everything that had been used, unless it was still new in a crate, and used relative because it would have been new from the 80s when they made it.
Yeah.
They were getting rid of it because they only wanted to take the new stuff back. So he was just putting stuff on eBay. He had already put 2 other shows on eBay before this one. The other 2 shows were in better condition. So that was the first time I had ever flown. That was the first time I'd ever rented a 25-foot truck and driven home.
That's dedication. That is dedication.
I was early 20. I was a little older than you.
Yeah, that's...
And, you know.
Wow.
Flew to Orlando.
How much was it, if you don't mind me asking? Like, that's... I feel like
give
that...
a range.
Yeah, you can give a range, too.
So, when I went to the bank to get the money out of savings, I took $5,000. Now that was the airfare, the truck, the show, and some money for food and diesel. So it was a $5,000 investment, which is nothing compared to now because there is one character on eBay right now, the gorilla with his piano, for $13,000.
Wow. This is all worth now in 2023.
As much as somebody's willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
So I would consider this like my retirement.
Oh, really?
You know.
Yeah.
So, unless they get crazy and decide to take over.
You never know. Someone might just come out for you like, hey, $500K, can I get everything? You never know.
It would be hard to turn down.
I know.
But, I mean, at this point, it's irreplaceable, too.
Yeah.
Because there would be no way to get all of this again. The creator of the show had one show left in the crates, and he turned down $250,000 for it. So, he still has it. And he's had it forever. So
it's almost priceless. Like, this is...
That's history.
Oh, yeah. It feels great. So this is your retirement line?
You know, that's what
like
I'm looking...
worst case scenario?
Oh, well, worst case scenario. There's going to be a time where I'm not going to be able to get on my hands and knees and crawl around on the floor and work on the, stuff. So.
Yeah. That's when y'all got to take over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe they'll be ready to take over. So
yeah.
He's already learned to program them. So
yeah.
I have a lot invested. And people's like, well, how did you get this? I've been collecting it for 20 years. A piece here and a piece there. And when I got this so long ago, I mean, it was dirt cheap compared to what they're selling for now. It's a supply and demand. Yeah. If I were to try to collect it today, I wouldn't be able to. I wouldn't be able to afford it. I've got a mortgage and insurance and kids and school and just wouldn't be able to afford it. It just happened at the right time in life, before the mortgage, before kids, before everything crazy took over. So.
And you always had this location,
This has always been in the family.
Okay.
So it was my grandfather's, and then after he passed, my dad inherited it. At that point, those characters were at his house on his garage. And he decided he wanted his garage back, so that's when we moved them in here. But it still took almost 2 years from when we moved them in here to when we had them running. So from those pictures when I picked it up to when they were in here running was 4 years.
Okay. May I enter the cheese crawl?
Yes, go ahead.
All right, let's go.
And crawl down to the end and go see the dark room and see if anything glows in the dark, and then make your way back to the other end.
Wait, there's more to that? Is that like a room or something?
Yeah, there's a room in here.
Whoa. I don't know about that room. What is that? Like, dude, it's...
Oh, wow. Whoa. That's wild, bro.
I'm literally under the animatronics right now. Dude. You can't see me right now, but this is insane.
So when they're off, their eyes always just droop down? The eyelids?
Their default position is asleep.
Okay.
So, yes.
Okay.
That was cool. I was not expecting to glow in the dark room.
How tall Freddy was again? Did you look it up?
It said between 7 and 8 feet.
7 and 8 feet.
So that. He's 8 when he rears up. So go stand beside him.
Bro.
And then imagine.
Do you think they're gonna be this tall in the movie? They have to be, right? They're gonna be like in the like it has to be.
Yeah.
Look at that, bro.
So yeah, like I said, I'm 6'2", I'm 6'.
Imagine running full force at you. Like what? Oh, is that how you guys program it? Or is it showing code?
That's the program that will run the show for us. So I've actually got a playlist sitting there.
Oh, see? That's the program that runs.
The box that controls it's right here underneath the amp. And that's for this one. The one that runs this show is right down here. We went from look down the end of the hallway, the big gray box.
Oh yeah.
We went from that to this.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank the Lord.
And this is running off computer power supplies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that's what they used to use before they eventually upgraded.
Yeah, her body and her face and. You see the air compressors that are running all of it are hid out back here. The yellow one is the one running the rockafire. The gray one is the one running the Chuck E. Cheese. A lot of air needed. And then these are the chillers that cool the air down and pull the moisture out.
You never had a overheating problem?
Right now, as hot as it's been during the summer, yeah, it gets pretty complicated. Y'all will notice that I disappear. It's back here checking stuff and making sure all the water's separating out. And on the arcade, everything's free play. The skee ball has tokens
really bad in this room. There was just a lot of air conditioning, but like Damon said, this is the little arcade and everything was free to play. He also had the Looney Bird animatronic. It was a separate science themed little show, and he also had some like rides for children that were Chuck E. Cheese and Billy Bob themed. Not only that, but he also had a skee ball game. So you already know, I had to get the new high score first try because I'm the GOAT. And then Aaron, aka Morbid for Fun, tried beating that, but he couldn't because you can't beat the GOAT, okay? You can't beat me. And then Andrew and Aaron started playing Mortal Kombat, and then Morbid actually won that. So Andrew, you're getting fired. You misrepresented the Tuv team. So after that, Damon actually showed us another show, but you guessed it, it was also copyrighted, but this time it was Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson. And he was telling us how people were confused as to how Michael let them use his song, but it seems Michael Jackson was okay with it.
Everybody's like, I can't believe Michael Jackson actually liked to let him do that. I'm like, well, I think he was okay with it.
Wow. Wait, was it actually this specific?
No.
Oh, okay. But still, like, he approved of it, you know? Like.
So that's actually the voice actor who does the gorilla.
Oh.
So, and if you look really, really, really good at his shirt, you'll see Mickey Mouse. So the company is in Orlando, Florida. He was at Disney World and went by for a visit to see it. They wouldn't show him his own show. They showed him something else.
See this.
But
yeah. You know, the first show you showed us where they're like acknowledging like Smitty out of nowhere, like this is a middle of nowhere place. Like, did you get voice actors for that?
That is the original voice actor for those 4 characters. So the rest of the show.
They said that for the specific.
He did.
You're in contact with them?
Well, I bought the show from him.
Because I'm confused as to.
When I bought the show, there was a lot of stuff that was still needed. So I kept in contact with him and bought more stuff from him and paid him to do the show. And you know, so there was several years of we went down there and toured the business when it was still the business. And
when you bought them, did they have any? They had the original shows that like already programmed. Is that how that worked?
No,
they had nothing.
That was years worth. I didn't even have everything to run them with. I mean, none of them had faces, and you know, most of them didn't even have furs and clothes.
So where'd you get the face and fur?
So that was part of the 4 years of getting everything back together. Yeah. So I got as much as I could from the company, and then some of the other stuff we just had to do what we had to do.
This is extremely rare. Like
it is.
People would. I don't know.
While they were playing, I told Bertie, like, dude, this performance is more rare than going to a Drake concert.
Yeah.
Some of the things that they did, I mean, there's Beach Boys medleys and Beatles medleys, and I mean, there's all kinds of things that they did. You couldn't even do that today. You couldn't get the copyright permission to do
No,
it.
they would not let that happen.
Nobody cared back then. I mean, it wasn't internet. It wasn't sue this for everything, you know. And then, I mean, you know, there's Michael Jackson going, "Hey, yeah, that's cool."
Y'all could use tough songs though.
Sorry, I didn't ask for your permission.
Oh, I think we've got proof of it.
Desist letter in the mail. No, I'm playing. Nah, y'all got permission for that for sure. Imagine y'all did road trip 6 minutes of that. You got the YouTube version too because like it says "Stop loving me." Yeah. When it whispered "Stop loving me,"
you actually don't see it, but he's got that programmed to the drummer. The drummer's actually saying that.
Oh, the "Stop loving me." That was honestly like, oh, that is so cool.
If you're a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, you definitely recognize that song right there. That is the Living Tombstone's Five Nights at Freddy's 1 song, which currently has 300 million views on YouTube. And actually, fun fact, it went gold. The song went gold. And Damon is actually about to explain how hard it is programming these animatronics to perform. Specifically, well, let's let him explain.
That's crazy. That's so cool. My favorite one. Nah, stop.
The second.
How fast they can move is so interesting.
Try to make their mouth jiggle but not close the whole way.
Yeah.
It is an art form.
It is.
To be able to do this. The drumming, to be on beat, you have to be ahead of beat on the computer to tell it.
It's because of the delay with the arm, right?
So wrap your head around not only drumming, but drumming ahead of the beat.
Yeah, I noticed that.
It is an art form to be able to do this and make it look really. I mean, you can sit there and just make it do whatever. But I mean, we're trying to make him hit the cymbal and hit the hi-hat and hit the bass drum to the sound of the song.
You do have to be ahead. Yeah, I noticed that. You have to be on beat. That's crazy.
Like perfectly.
Is there like a way when for example, for the drum part, do you have to manually do every one, or do you copy and paste like?
We did the whole thing.
The whole thing. Wow.
What we try to do is one arm at a time. So we'll hit this arm and the cymbal, and then we'll go back and do the other arm and the hi-hat.
Oh,
you can't do.
Usually, where do you guys start when you're programming? You start with the face, the mouth.
I start with the mouth.
You start with
the mouth of the lead singer is first.
Okay.
You have to have those words right. Then after that, you want to be on beat with the drums, and you can fret to where you need to be. So he's actually where he needs to be on the guitar.
Ooh.
The piano, you've got your high and your low keys, so you want to be as close as you can to that.
Wow.
But the drumming is the art form because he's actually playing.
Is that the most difficult?
Yes.
The drumming, okay.
The drumming. You just make the lights look pretty.
Yeah. How do you program the lights to specifically show on certain characters?
Well, each one of these lights is for a specific character. So in our program, it's like this light, this character. It's broken down.
If you lose like that program, will you lose everything?
Oh, the guy that created it's got it. We've all got copies of it.
Okay.
He's got it uploaded. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So how do you guys send it to each other? Is there like
email?
It's
usually small enough. Unless it's a really long song, it's not that big of a file. Just based off of an MP3. So whatever size the MP3 is, maybe add another meg of it for the data. So, it's not too bad. His was like 6 megs with the little 2-minute song. So yeah, we were really piratey. We downloaded the YouTube video and then converted the MP4 to an MP3 and then imported it in.
You guys grew up with these guys, right? You guys grew up everything. Like this is core memory for you guys. It's so interesting because your like memories of childhood is like so rare for kids in our generation to have these as memories. That's like your memories. So the fact that you guys have it is so rare. That's so crazy.
And see, I'm already thinking ahead to hopefully my grandkids too.
Yeah.
So it'll be three generations.
Can you open the curtain and turn the lights on? I just want to see them up close. The ears are like my height exactly. Dude, imagine just like looks at me. Boom. That would be crazy. Wow.
Yeah, it would be. Even I'd be like, oh shit.
Dude, look at. Are these like tennis balls or?
It's actually latex and some paper towels and.
It's so funny. Does this guy have a name?
That's Antioch. And the baby bear is Choo Choo, and then Sun and Moon, or well, Sun and Moon. And so what I was being funny about is this is my Earl.
They can meet, actually. This is a gift for you guys, by the way. You guys can keep this.
Oh, well, we'll definitely.
This is rare because we don't sell these anymore. This is rare. We're moving on to the
Frederick Bear
Earl plush, which will be out in October this month.
Yes, guys, you heard it here first. The day that this video was uploaded, October 13th, the brand new Earl Frederick Bear plushies are now available at earldoesn'texist.com. There are only 500, so please, I don't want to hear anyone talking about like, I missed out. Well, then you should have had notifications on and follow Earl Doesn't Exist on Instagram. So they are $35. They are not $30 unlike the regular Earl plushies. That is because we got charged more because these involved a lot of color. So yeah, I'm gonna be shipping all of them personally, and just as another reminder, these have nothing to do with Five Nights at Freddy's. They are a parody, and I'm not involved with that company at all. This is our own thing, and it's called Frederick Earl. Yeah, it's available now. Make sure to go shop at earldoesn'texist.com.
Earl and Earl, look, they even got the same little hands. Who knew?
Wow. And I got gifts for you guys as well. You know how, I don't know the lore, I'll just explain. So basically, the character is called Earl, but I have a brand named Earl, and we're discontinuing the champion, as in like the manufacturers. You guys can have some of the last pieces. They're still up on the store, but we're about to take them off. These are the spray paint Earl tees, and those are manufactured by Champion.
This is nice.
I love that design so much. Is it possible, like Aaron was saying, like to remove his face so we could see the skeleton inside?
So this is all latex, right?
The fur covers the latex, but yeah, the face, all the faces.
Are they buttons? Is that what you're undoing right now?
Snaps.
Oh.
Oh, it's gonna look creepy.
I'll show. After I get the view of this.
Well, y'all hear me cussing later, trying to get it back on. Just bleep that part out.
I'm sorry.
No, I think it's worth it.
De-gloving his face. That's crazy. Wow.
Put your hand in here and act like a puppet, so you hold it. You got it?
Yeah. Wow. So how many of you are there?
Just a handful of us with this. Just a handful.
And how many do you think
I'm the only one who is everything.
Yeah, no, this is the best one usually.
In one building.
How many do you think there was before it became a handful?
280 sets made by the company. 200 went to the stores, and then he had 80, and that's what he sold for the next 30 years, and he has one left that's still complete new. He has some other parts and pieces, but he has one full set left. And then there's 5 Chuck E. Cheeses that still have them, but they're skinned as the Chuck E. Cheese characters. So that's Pasquale, that's Mr. Munch, that's Jasper, that's Helen, and then he's Chuck E. Cheese.
Wow.
If you take them back, take them to the 3 stage before it's gone, and that he's still standing right there with a TV beside him, and that's him. Same robot, but it's Chuck E. Cheese. Concept unification.
Yeah. So concept unification. To put it in the most simple way, it's the animatronics being reskinned. That's literally it. I mean, why would a company just make new ones when they can reskin perfectly working endoskeletons? So Mitzi Mozzarella became Helen, Beach Bear became Jasper, Fats became Mr. Munch, Duke became Pasquale, Rolf the Wolf became Chucky, Choo Choo became Munch Jr., Antioch became the Wink, and Billy Bob was actually kept around for spare parts. Really interesting that the main character from Rockafire, which was used in Showbiz Pizza Place, wasn't used at all when they moved on to being Chuck E. Cheese. And here's a very interesting / creepy video that was used back in the 1980s to guide and educate employees on how the concept unification would start.
Welcome to the concept unification installation tape.
He's the main character, and then he's the leader of the band, but they made him Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh, okay, that's where I was. Okay, there you go.
in 1990.
Wow, interesting that they removed the whole puppet aspect then.
Yeah, they did. He totally took it off and just made it another arm. And then this is your wink. That's what became the wink. His airlines is what ran to the wink.
Cool. I mean, I think we're ready to see the other.
All right. Well, give me a minute. I want to go ahead and put this back on.
Oh yeah, no, take your time. Take your time.
I won't buy you some beer here at Chuck E. Cheese's today. Here's a little only one of my favorites.
So you guessed it, there's another copyrighted song here, but let me introduce you to the King. He was actually a 9-foot tall animatronic lion who was a parody of Elvis Presley. He wasn't a part of Munch's make-believe band, and he would often tell the audience to go visit the main dining area. Even though he was based off Elvis Presley, he actually did have some original Chuck E. Cheese songs. And I don't know if I've mentioned it, but the King was a part of Chuck E. Cheese's Pizza Time Theater. And notice that the back of his head is almost falling off due to this specific King not being able to fully extend since he's just too tall for the building itself. But just make note of the back of his head because we're going to talk about that later.
Now, this show is actually in stereo. When you listen to the show, you'll hear him on this side, you'll hear Billy on that side, you'll hear the drumming on this side.
That's a $2 bill, lucky $2 bill.
We've already met.
And here we have the Beagles, which were clearly a parody of the Beatles, and these were a group of dogs that played in the cabaret side dining rooms at Chuck E. Cheese's during its Pizza Time Theater days. Only 4 Beagle shows are known to still survive, and we're looking at one of them.
Keeping stuff, like for example, the VGA needs to be plugged in and turn the TV on, and needs to be plugged into the computer, the programming, like there's a lot, you know?
I mean, there's more reasons than one why I do it by appointment only, because I don't want to be public, because this is all still copyrighted characters, so, you know, I can't be a business and I can't charge admission and all that, you know, that's why I always ask for donations and you have to have an appointment, I don't have business hours, so it's just...
So, like, I mean, in this video, you're gonna get a lot of, like, this video is probably gonna get over 1 million views, and there probably are people gonna email you like, "Can we come? Can we come?" Yeah. Do you know how you're gonna deal with that? Like,
you know, I ask them how much money they're gonna give me to come.
Exactly. Yeah, guys, if you come here, you gotta give a fat donation.
The price just went up because of you.
No, if they're spamming him, you're forced to make your price go up.
I need enough to keep the lights on, the insurance paid, the taxes that are about to be due. You know, I'm not trying to make money off of it, but I've got to make enough to keep it preserved. I've been calling it a museum.
Yeah.
Because it is.
It's on Google, right?
It is on Google as a museum, is the listing that we're under. And I mean, that's the closest thing that fits, because these are museum pieces at this point.
This is going to be a long video on my channel. I'm hoping like it's like an hour and 30. I want it to be like an actual movie. But it's not just this. I've pre-recorded stuff about the history of like Disney animatronics. It's focusing on Chuck E. animatronics.
If you go back and look at the Disney animatronics, Disney was the OG.
Yeah.
There was a show that this company made that was a precursor to the rockafire. It was,
So I'm gonna go ahead and explain something for you guys, just because the audio was kind of bad, but the same company, Creative Engineering, that made the rockafire explosion, did make a band before them, and it was called Bear Country Jubilee. The show was built between 1977 and 78, and it was clearly based on Disney's Country Bear Jamboree. So if my timeline is correct, Bear Country Jubilee came out, and then they turned into the Hard Luck Bears, and then eventually moved on to the rockafire explosion. But let's talk about the Hard Luck Bears. The Hard Luck Bears are very important to the lore of Smitty's Super Service Station, because this is where Smitty got his name. No, Damon's name isn't actually Smitty, but in the background there is a place called Smitty's Super Service Station. This was a spot where Pete and Repeat Thornsberry, those two brother bears, worked at. So we never got to see who Smitty was. Damon just adopted the name. So there you go, there's some interesting Smitty lore for you guys.
Smitty's was already a thing.
yeah, that's how.
Oh, I thought you just like.
No.
Oh.
Look at his.
So you adopted the name then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I took that country gas station.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we are.
Would you introduce yourself as Smitty? I mean, it seems like it.
Well, you called me that in one of the emails. And I think at this point, when I put this on and I do my hair, I guess Smitty is my character.
Smitty.
You're
right
tough. I mean, I'm Damon. Kids come and ask for Mr. Smitty.
Smitty actually looked like.
That's Pete and Repeat Thornsberry.
Oh.
Yeah, that's okay.
Pete and Repeat Thornsberry.
Pete and Repeat. Y'all ready to see a pig oink?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
should the lights be off?
They'll go off when the show's.
Oh.
Ta-da!
Wow.
So, the moment we've all been waiting for, the actual Chuck E. Cheese crew. Fun fact, they were actually called the Pizza Players when they originally debuted in 1977, but they eventually changed their name to Munch's Make-Believe Band. What you'll notice that's interesting about these animatronics is that they don't have legs, it's half their bodies. So what we're looking at aren't the original animatronics. Those were actually called first-gen portrait animatronics, simply because they were in portraits. It was a pretty cool concept, like the portraits came to life, and you get to eat pizza and look up and see, oh, the portraits are talking to each other and they're interacting with us and singing songs. Those portraits went through a couple designs, and this is where my timeline gets mixed up because I'm looking at the wiki and I really don't know where to go off of. But with concept unification in 1989, that's when Chucky had Rolf the Wolf's body. So that's when they all had their different bodies, you know? But according to this wiki, it says that from 1984 to 2001, that's the version we're looking at. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess that around the nation, there were just different generations of Chuck E. Cheese playing music. And the ones we're looking at right now apparently are called Bandstand Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if that's only referring to that outfit that Chucky has right there, but I'm just gonna call them the half bodies. And also, another fun fact is that Chucky got turned into a mouse in 1993. Contrary to a lot of people believing that he recently got turned into a mouse with the rock star Chucky taking over, it actually happened years ago. I don't know if they ever made an announcement about it, but like I said, according to this wiki, it happened in 1993. Anyway, let's keep taking a look at these half bodies.
Hey, food machine, what are you up to now? You trying to steal my show?
This is Madame Punk's World of Music show.
Don't start all that again or I'll break your transistors.
I've already programmed myself this time.
Oh yeah? Where are you taking us now?
Some more copyrighted music, but look at these cool animatronics on the side. They're just limbs, which I bet there's probably a pretty morbid story behind this, but yeah, they're just limbs clapping and a tree trunk. Pretty cool.
Oh, look at him go back. That's crazy. His eyes just jumping up.
Listen, sweetheart. You must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss. A sigh, just a sigh. The fundamental things of life. Time goes by. Play it again, Sam. You fill up my jug with that good old mountain dew.
So since I don't want this footage to go to waste, but there is some copyrighted music in the background, I'm still going to show the footage, but I'm going to talk over it and I'm going to tell you guys a story about when I was a small child and Chuck E. Cheese made me cry. My mom and my aunt took me to Chuck E. Cheese's. I don't even know why my aunt was there. No offense. It was a standing Chuck E. Cheese crew and I started crying. I went under the table, got scared every time I would look at the Chuck E. Cheese animatronics. So yeah, y'all hopped on my trend. Scott Cawthon, you hopped on my trend of being scared of animatronics. So what's up? But yeah, there's a little short story for you guys.
Don't run for the hills, folks. We got more to come.
So I was watching like an old video, like the OG ones of the portraits when Chucky had like a cigar and everything, and they had the animatronic flag. But I was very curious because one of them had like a Confederate flag, and I just wanted to like know more about it.
They had the Confederate flag, a state flag, and the Chuck E. Cheese flag. Yeah, that was one of the original flags that they had.
Is there like a reason why they used it? Just...
I mean, Disney had Splash Mountain and got rid of it because of the same ties to that era.
Would it be possible to see like this show but without audio, just to hear them like? Because this is what people would hear. For example, in a Five Nights at Freddy's attack. So this is all y'all would hear. Yeah, exactly.
Creepy pasta.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were referencing.
Y'all know the deal, copyrighted music, so Daddy Tub is gonna sing for you guys. I mean, nobody looking. No, I'm just kidding. No. But I really want to use this footage because, like I said before, I said pay attention to the back of the king's head. But why did I say that? Well, it just fell off. So this is only because his head keeps hitting the ceiling. And in case you're wondering what we're actually, I guess, listening to, Damon showed us a show that involved the Chuck E. Cheese crew, the Beagles, and the King all doing multiple songs together, but sadly they are copyrighted.
He partied till his head fell off.
Looks like a mic with a dead cat on it. Oh, it's just wood.
So here is each movement.
Yeah, get that.
And then it shows you where it's actually programmed.
Oh, cool.
And then what I can do is start it playing, and then you will see. So in here you'll see the light light up.
Shut.
Oh.
Now they're going to add. Now they're going to go to the eyelids.
Eyelids next. Open. Shut. 2. Shut. 3. Shut. 4. Shut. 5. Shut. 6. Shut. 7. Shut. 8. Shut. 9. Shut. 10. Shut. Now eyeballs. Right. Left. 2. Left. 3. Left. 4. Left. 5. Left. 6. Left. 7. Left. 8 left, 9 left, 10 left. Now his body. Right, left, right, left, 3 left, 4 left, 5 left, 6 left, 7 left, 8 left, 9 left, 10 left. Now his microphone arm, up, down, 2 down, 3 down, 4 down, 5 down, 6 down, 7.
My problem was he kept doing this.
Down,
just throw it
9 down, 10 down.
Projectile!
That's the end of Chucky's diagnostic.
And you have a diagnostic for each animatronic?
I think the only ones that I have ready are these. These are the ones I have to work on the most. But yeah, each one does.
Wow. That might be one of my favorite parts of this.
That's the character. You also have the lights.
Stage right, right center, stage center, left center, stage left.
I pose them for you, and you can get pictures with them all lit up.
Okay. Oh, wow. We'll leave it on for my part. That's like the perfect lighting.
Here's some footage of the solo Looney Bird show. As cool as it is, there's nothing really crazy about it. I mean, I really like that computer monitor on his right. That's for some reason really fuzzy. It constantly has Smitty's logo, which I think is really cool. But yeah, there's nothing crazy about it. It also had copyrighted music.
Alright guys, this is going to be ending the video. No, I'm not. I can't end it like this. No. I can't end the video like this. Well guys, we've made it to the end of the documentary. I don't know how long this video is. I definitely just want to say big thank you. I want to say a big thank you to Damon, Duncan, Dez, the 3Ds right here. So if you guys are ever planning on coming to visit, you do gotta donate. Make sure to give a fat dono. And Damon's channel will be linked down in the description. So make sure to get a minimum 10K. Nah, y'all can pass it up. 25K. Y'all get him to 25K, bro. Y'all better, please. If y'all don't, I'm never uploading again. Nah, I'm playing. Oh yeah, and big thank you to Aaron. He's been here the whole time. And big thank you to Andrew behind the camera. And big thank you to all these animatronics. That's really it for this video. I'll see you guys next time I upload.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and make sure to follow me on Instagram at @mynameistov. It actually got banned and then reinstated, so make sure to go follow that, and the backup at Tub doesn't exist. Go follow me on TikTok. But that's really it. More hour-long videos in the making already. I personally love making this video, so thank you to all of you for watching. I will see you guys next time I upload.